How you going, guys? Isn't it nice to be able to control your environment, do a bit of work on a Saturday, get ahead for the week, maybe able to help the missus out by picking the kids up a few times, control your environment. We're in business, right? Let alone the changing environment, isn't it nice to be cold rather than being in an air-conditioned office all the time with people you don't necessarily get along with. So don't forget about the benefits of your business. Sometimes with these cold mornings we can focus on those things too much, right? Now I wanted to talk to you about one specific topic, and then I'll have another couple of topics to talk to you about a bit later during the week, because we're doing we're trying to do national, kind of like weekly contacts, right? So 4 times a month, let's say, that we'd like to try and contact you. So we'll divide it up a little bit, keep on increasing those contact points. But what I wanted to talk to you about was probably the most critical thing that I got to talk to you about at the moment, which is it's got to do with getting put off, right? So I think that's the thing that most people are suffering from to some degree at the moment. Certainly it does indicate something about your business, the level of customers that are putting you off. Obviously the less the better, right? So the more resilient they are. But the first thing I want to say about that is the customer is only really saving, and I'll get straight to the point, the customer is really only saving on a $40 job $10, right? They're putting you off a week, 1 in 4, divide by 4, they're saving $10. What effect are they actually having on your schedule for $10? Are they having more effect on you than $10? I would say yes, they are. Because, okay, well, you've got to find a gap for them next week. Now they're completely out of sequence, and if you're running a decent business, you've got things in sequence of different directions and different groups of jobs on different weeks at least. So now they've gone into another complete week, maybe onto another complete day, and then guess what's going to happen in a few months' time? They're going to go back again, and then you've got to reschedule again. So for $10, it's costing you how much, right? So listen, you don't have to get angry about it with the customer. You just have to explain it to the customer. You just have to say to them some of these things. But starting with the first one, just go like, well, for God's sake, when they say they want to put you off a week, don't just say, yeah, no worries, right? Go, I'll have to see if I can fit you in. Even if you don't have demand exceeding supply, for God's sake, fake it, right? So just say, I'll have to see if I can fit you in if you want to cave that easily. The other thing to say, though, is, listen, I organise my week, and you being a regular, you're in a schedule with me. So I go from Mrs. Jones to you, right? So if you go out a different week, I may not be in the area that week, or I may not be doing Mrs. Jones I will no longer be doing Mrs. Jones before you, which means things to me. So it causes a fair bit of inconvenience by you going out of sequence, and then say to them as well. And of course, what's going to happen is you're only going to get 1 month of it in anyway, because if you're saving to get $10, which causes me more scheduling problems than $10, but then you're going to come back in, and then I've got to try and find you your way back in as well. So then it's it still lives on in terms of workload for me in trying to manage your lawn. Having said that, point number 2, man, it's yard maintenance. It's not, I'm here pushing a mile for a certain amount of minutes. I manage your yard, and it needs to be managed on a monthly basis. And I'm the dude that knows, not you. I'm out there mowing lots of lawns all the time, seeing how much grass grows. I've done this for years, and I've seen as soon as you put me off into, this is the other point I was going to make. As soon as you put me off into, you might get June in there, July in there. So you've got a saving in July. And then August, we're starting to look at moving you back. So you're only going to get a month in there anyway. So it's maintenance, right? So it's maintaining a yard on a monthly basis. You see what's going on. You're the expert. Grass does not grow properly, all over the lawn at exactly the same rate. You know what I mean? So, and the other thing to say about that as well is, listen, by putting you off, are you going to just wait for them to then come back into a 4-week sequence that they've put you off a week? You're going to wait for them to come back? Because guess what, man? You're going to get caught in spring with a massive amount of work, because it's just going to explode. And then they're going to go, oh, really? Do you have to move back in? So you're copying it on all ends, right? And you can relay some of those experiences that I just told you about, which should resonate with you as well, to the customer when they go to say, "Oh, can I put you off a week? Nothing's growing." You know what I mean? Having said all that, right? Oh well, maybe I've got one more point to do with that. Let's see what else I've got here. Just don't give in straight away. See if you can squeeze them in. is the thing. But for God's sake, talk to your customer. Cool. The other thing to say is, man, for God's sake, don't just start agreeing with them, right? So sometimes, and this is where I talked about that edge of learning, or where learning or value is created. Sometimes I'll hear guys say, "Oh, listen, I feel like they probably should wait a week." It's to look after the customer perfectly. Well, it's a two-way street, right? You know, it's got to work for you, and it's got to work for them. Now, the final thing, and probably the most important thing, because I just went through a whole heap of stuff of how you can convince your client or not get that, or train your client, you know, or give them an understanding that then allows them to appreciate that it's not just them saving money, it's the inconvenience that it has on. No matter what you're saying about this, is you should know at the moment what customers have put you off and which customers are not giving you any additional services at the moment. Now, say what you like about it, right? But we're just about to come into spring, or we're going to get into spring eventually. So you should know what customers don't help you out at the best time of the year, right? So a lot of this is just, it's a two-way street. It's not just you come, do the lawn like an employee, right? It's a two-way relationship in business, like we got with you guys, right? It goes two ways, man. It doesn't just go one way. So it's got to work for both parties, yeah? So start having the mentality that if, of exactly that, but educate your customers, yeah? Some guys, you've made it harder for yourself because you've let guys put you off. Guess what? Well, then you've got a customer base that thinks that they can put you off, right? So God knows why you'd want to text a night before to tell them that you're coming. That just gives you the opportunity to get put off. And you're probably feeling that at this time of the year, so hopefully I've got a knife in there, because I don't like that. But you do what you want, right? But for God's sake, tell them about the additional service you found last month, and make the actual activity of reminding them that you're coming have a potential for you earning some money. Hopefully it helps you just a little bit. Now, another thing, just quickly, just to end off with, man, walking on roofs is a mugs game. One guy's fallen off, flattened his back, woke up on the ground. Good one. Another guy's put his leg through. I think two guys have put their legs through different parts of roofs and verandas. Don't get on a roof unless you're crazy. Remembering that, you know, for 240 bucks, or say 220, I think is what most guys are charging for a 3-bedroom house. Man, you know, if you fall off that roof or you injure yourself, you're going to lose a lot more money than that if you're out for 2 weeks. You know, how much do you earn a week? Times that by, you know, not being out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or even worse, right? So, yeah, even worse. So, please bear that in mind for 220 bucks. Don't, you know, if a customer can't be serviced, don't service them with the job that you've got. Make sure that you've got the right equipment in terms of ladders and ladder locks. Make sure you use them, and just make sure you be safe and take your time. You're getting paid really well for it, so take your time, right? That's all I wanted to talk to you about in this little segment. I'll come out with another little segment. I've got some more little nuggets from the meeting as well, which were really good. Okay, guys, you have a good week. Bye.